I pulled into my driveway in Pinewood Grove last March, bone-tired from 6 months in Tennessee, nursing my sister through chemo. All I wanted was the hum of my backyard fountain, the creak of my porch swing, and a cold beer in my hand. But the second I stepped out of my truck, something felt wrong, like the air itself was holding its breath, tight and brittle. No kids laughing, no sprinklers spitting, just a dry, eerie hush hanging over the cul-de-sac like a bad omen. My lawn was the only green patch left, thanks to my buddy Mike, who'd kept the timers running while I was gone. Everywhere else, yellowed grass, drooping shrubs, like the neighborhood had been drained of life. I dragged my bag inside, the house smelling like dust and old pine, and ran the kitchen tap. Thank God, water still flowed, crisp and cold from my private well. But something gnawed at me, a prickling instinct from my days as a Marine. I headed to the backyard and spotted it. A cheap plastic sign zip-tied to my fence. All exterior water use restricted per HOA conservation policy. Non-compliance will result in fines. At the bottom, in Sharpie, one name, Linda Grayson. Linda. Of course it was Linda. She lived 5 houses down, always in those clunky heels, strutting like she owned the street. She'd been a nobody when I left, just another neighbor with a clipboard and a grudge. But while I was gone, she'd clawed her way to HOA president, turning our quiet little community into her personal fiefdom. I'd heard stories she'd find old Mrs. Carter for her garden gnomes, call the cops on a kid's lemonade stand, even ban porch flags unless they were aesthetically cohesive. Control wasn't just her hobby, it was her gospel. That night, I ran into Mike at the mailbox, his face gaunt, eyes darting like he was waiting for a sniper. "Linda's got the whole place on lockdown," he muttered, voice low. "Shut off the community water tank last week. Said it's leaking. No one's had a drop since." I stared at him. "She shut off the water? For the whole neighborhood?" He nodded, glancing over his shoulder. "Says it's for conservation, but her lawn's still green as a golf course. She got her own crew now. HOA badges, the works. Watch yourself, Jake. Your well? Keep it quiet." My well. The one my granddad dug back when Pinewood was just a dirt patch, long before the HOA existed. It was off their grid, tucked behind my shed, capped and forgotten by everyone except me. I had it tested, upgraded the pump a few years back, just in case. Now it was my ace in the hole. I looked at Mike, his shoulders slumped, and said, "Come by tomorrow. Bring some jugs." He blinked, then gave a quick nod, like he'd just been handed a lifeline. By dawn, I was up, coffee in hand, staring out at a neighborhood that looked like it had given up. No dogs barking, no kids on bikes, just the groan of dry pipes and the faint whistle of wind through dead grass. Mike rolled up at 8 a.m. sharp, his pickup rattling with empty water cans. I led him to the well, popped the cap, and flipped the pump. Water gushed out, clear and cold, like a middle finger to Linda's rules. His eyes lit up. "Jake, this could save us." I shook my head. "It'll help a few. Don't spread it around." But word travels fast in a thirsty town. By noon, a handful of neighbors were trickling in Sarah with her twin boys, old man Ted with his rusted bucket, even Jenny, the single mom who always wore that faded sun hat. I told them the same thing. Take what you need, keep it quiet, don't flash it. I wasn't looking for a fight, just didn't want kids drinking dust while Linda sipped iced tea on her emerald lawn. Then came the email. All caps, like a drill, sergeant screaming. "Mandatory water briefing, 6 p.m. clubhouse. Unauthorized water use prohibited." I forwarded it to my old buddy Paul, a retired city water engineer who owed me one. His reply was quick. "She's full of it. HOAs can't control water without city permits. Send me everything." That night, the clubhouse was packed, tense, like a courtroom before a verdict. Linda stood up front, all pearls and pantsuit, clicking through slides of rusted pipes like she was auditioning for a TED Talk. "Our infrastructure's failing," she said, voice dripping with fake concern. "We've suspended all water use for the greater good." I couldn't help it. I stood up. "That's bull, Linda. Your own fountain's still running. Care to explain that?" Her smile froze, but she recovered fast. "Mr. Callahan, private wells violate HOA Code 4.2. I crossed my arms. "Wrong. My well predates your HOA by 50 years. Section 5.1 says grandfather utilities are exempt." I checked. The room buzzed, heads turning. Linda's eyes narrowed. "We'll review your case, Jake." I leaned in. "You do that. And while you're at it, show me the city permit that lets you shut off everyone's water." The crowd erupted, not loud, but sharp, like a dam breaking. A mom shouted about her baby's formula. Ted demanded his water bill refund. Linda tried to gavel them down, but the spell was broken. I slipped out, feeling eyes on me, not angry, but curious, like they were waking up. The next morning, I found a new sign on my fence: "Cease non-HOA water use or face fines." No signature, just that smug HOA logo. I bagged it, labeled it, added it to my growing file. Linda was escalating, but so was I. Paul called that afternoon. She never filed a permit. That pipe photo? Bogus. I'm sending a city inspector. I grinned, then hooked up a hose and watered my lawn, slow and deliberate, right in front of her drought sign. If she wanted a war, I'd bring one. Over the next few days, I turned my place into a quiet oasis. Neighbors came by, filling jugs, whispering thanks. Sarah's boys painted a sign: "Jake's well, free water." It made me laugh, but it also made me nervous. Linda wasn't blind. Sure enough, she struck back. 3 rent-a-cops showed up at dusk, polos embroidered with pinewood security. The lead guy, all clipboard and attitude, strutted up. "Mr. Callahan, you're distributing illegal water." I didn't blink. "You're on my property without a warrant. That's trespassing. My well's county registered, Ordinance 312B. Want to test me?" He faltered, mumbled into his radio, and they peeled out. That night, another notice hit my mailbox: $300 daily fine for noncompliance. I scanned it, sent it to Paul. His reply: "She's done. This is illegal. County's coming tomorrow." The inspector, a guy named Walt, rolled up at 11 a.m., clipboard in hand, no nonsense vibe. I showed him the well, the permits, the UV filter, the works. He nodded, impressed. Cleaner than city water. Then I handed him the real ammo: photos of Linda's fountain, still gurgling, time-stamped during the shutdown. Paul's blueprints showed her lot tied to a hidden city valve. Walt's eyes narrowed. "She's stealing water. That's fraud." He made a call, voice low but lethal. Level 3 violation. Utility tampering. Schedule a hearing. The summons dropped a week later, a city-stamped letter calling Linda and the HOA board to City Hall. By then, the neighborhood was buzzing whispers at mailboxes, kids on bikes again, like life was creeping back. The hearing was electric. Linda sat there, stiff as a mannequin, clutching a thin stack of papers. I walked in with a binder thick as a brick: notices, videos, neighbor letters. Paul laid out the evidence: her fountain, the rerouted valve, the fake pipe photos. When it was my turn, I didn't hold back. I'm a Marine, 20 years. I've seen control freaks before, but Linda? She's weaponized water to bully this neighborhood into submission. These people, moms, veterans, kids, they're not her subjects. They're her neighbors. The commissioner's gavel hit at 10:34 a.m. HOA authority suspended. Linda Grayson removed as president. Case referred for civil review. Linda walked out, silent, her empire in ashes. Outside, neighbors hugged, some cried. Mike clapped my shoulder. "You did it, Jake." I shook my head. "We did." Linda sold her house a month later, moved to some gated condo across the state. The new HOA, led by Clara, a no-nonsense librarian, Open meetings in the park, scrapped the petty rules, started a fund for struggling families. Pinewood bloomed again gardens, laughter life. One day, I found a note in my mailbox. No stamp, just cursive. Jake, I went too far. I'm sorry. Linda. I tucked it away, not for her, but for us, a reminder of what we'd overcome. Now, every morning, I check the well, not because it needs it, but because it's ours a symbol of what happens when you stand up. The kids painted stones around it, names scrawled in bright colors. Mike, Sarah, Ted, Clara, us. Pinewood's not perfect, but it's alive again, and that's enough. So what do you think? Was Linda just a control freak? Or was she scared of losing something too? Had you ever faced someone like her in your town? Drop a comment, share your story, I'm all ears.